Hello everyone! I would like to use this visual example to illustrate the understanding of canvas shrinkage during hand embroidery in my style using double cross. Well, let's take a look. I'm now moving the camera along the perimeter of the canvas, what has already been embroidered. It's on the top. And the canvas what I'm about to work on, I'm deliberately and slowly moving along the perimeter on all sides of the canvas. What exactly am I showing you? This is the shrinkage of the canvas after the embroidery is completed. This is what this video will discuss. I always tell you what certain amount of canvas depending on the technique, pattern and size of embroidery. The final size of a finished product will be smaller than the unembroidered canvas before the start of work, and we should always remember this nuance. Now I will move the camera a little to make it even more visual. I apologize for the light. I have such reflections here in the studio because I have mountains here, a tropical view, and the light fall directly on the work surface now. But we are talking about a topic what can be covered with lighting as well. So let's take another close look and pay attention to the fact what the piece of canvas embroidered on the top is absolutely the same size as the piece of canvas underneath, which I will now have to work with. Please note what in the process of working on the embroidery the size will decrease. If you are going to cut out, let's say your embroidery, fantasizing, you take some piece of canvas and understand what in the process of work. Yes, and in this case we are embroidering this double cross in combination with regular cross, and all these thick thread, solid floss and thick threads on the 11 count canvas. This is such a thick tissue. And what is important is without a hoop. This is very important. With such input, there will be such a shrinkage along the sides. And I want to draw your attention to the fact what the shrinkage along the lengthwise and transverse is different. It all depends of cutting of canvas. Now I think I will show you what I meant. In different directions, the pliability of the canvas is different. By the way, it's worth keeping in mind what the quality of different bases is also different, and everything they are talking about is relevant for 11 count canvas. Once again, let's carefully look at the possibilities of stretching in the canvas in all directions. Pay attention to this for your calculations. It's incredibly interesting, and let's see what we get in the process. For visual reinforcement, I will show you in close-up how the edges of the canvas have changed in the already embroidered version. If you have a good eye, then you can see now the distance between the holes in it has become smaller by millimeters compared to the same canvas, but not yet embroidered. You see, then they compare the same canvas, but before and after embroidery, you see. So then it's very clearly visible how it shrinks. It's even better to see when you making this comparison closer to the part there was embroidery performed. You see, it's more upper, and this difference getting a little bit smaller. It's visible what the distance between the holes becomes smaller, and this achieved by tension by hand. Each embroidery has his own style, and it doesn't even matter in the hoop or not, but some embroidery more densely tightening more strongly and some more freely. And if you embroider without a hoop, without fixing the base, then in this case the individuality of embroidery is more clearly manifested, and the canvas is tightened based on the technique and temperament of the creator. You can see how the fritz coverage tightened in this part, and on the clean canvas there is still no tension and all holes are even, ideal. And on the upper canvas it's visible what the canvas is wavier along the perimeter. Shrinkage is very small, but it's worth remembering. Maybe some centimeter with a little bit on different edges, but this shrinkage is visible. Remember this and lay this delta. And if you want to embroider some element applique, not on the basis of fabric, but on such a special canvas with holes, then this moment which we are talking about now must always be taken into account. And if you freely fantasize, then later all this can be framed into a picture and made beautiful any size. This is such a nuance what you should know and feel. This is really very, very important. Yes, indeed, shrinkage a little, but with a good eye it's noticeable, and very important to pay attention about any nuances during your craft. Let's take another closer look, as clearly as possible, but the holes are a little denser, just a little bit. I told you they are important things, and now is the time to create and see what will happen at the very end. I think I will embroider little by little and show you. So now I embroidered one line, and I want to show you everything we talked about step by step using a real example. The black line or the edging have the same number of crosses at the top and bottom. Imagine. You can pause this video and count, and please write how many you got. And now look, if we compare the lines of upper and lower canvas side by side, see what happens. This is such a metamorphosis. Only one line has been embroidered yet, but you can already feel the moment of slight compression and a small wave appear on the canvas. You see just one line, and it's already interesting what will happen when the entire canvas is embroidered. We are having a pure experiment right now. Congratulations. The more crosses are embroidered, the greater the tension. Let's look carefully again, and I will slowly move the camera so what you can count in parallel. And can pause again and count. Like this, I think one more, a little bit closer, one more time, focusing. Remember this point when you calculate the size of your creation and enjoy your needlework. I'm proposing you to start embroider together with me. So take a canvas, take floss and experiment it and to see what tension your hands have. So here is the vertical strip of crosses embroidered, and here we also see a small discrepancy in the size of a line of the upper and lower canvas. Although in this example the number of crosses is absolutely the same. Remember, the vertical shows us the same things as we just saw in the horizontal line. And now I think will be more interesting part, just the cherry on the cake. As always, I planned one thing and in the end it turned out to be even more interesting. And I can tell you about additional nuances right now. So I had this canvas embroidered and we compared it with it, talking about shrinkage. When I embroidered this canvas on the absolutely identical piece of canvas, and we examined the perimeter of the first canvas with new embroidered lines in the embroidery what was just emerging. And now both embroideries are ready, and look what an interesting ending they got. The vertical size of embroidery is ultimately the same on both pieces of canvas. You can perfectly see it with your own eyes now. This is almost perfect. Everything is fine. But there is an interesting nuance. The embroidery is different. Second embroidery, I mean design of embroidery, is different. The transition are different. Then I use regular crosses as outline of my figures in design. They tighten the canvas more. And the double cross has its own characteristics and tension. All this creates different density of embroidery and different tension of threads inside the design. And now I would like to show you something. Then we compare both canvases horizontally. We see a small delta, approximately half a centimeter, somewhere in one double cross. And if we compare the bottoms of both embroideries, then this difference in length here is obviously less. It's clear that the fabric is not paper and it can be pulled a little, and in this case the top and bottom will be same length. But nevertheless, two embroideries still horizontally with the same initial number of crosses can differ in length. It's all about the embroidery design. The more straight lines, the less shrinkage. The more curves, flexible forms like here, the greater shrinkage of such an embroidery design. For example, in this fragment here, a greater shrinkage was revealed when in upper geometry. In principle, the difference can be from half to 1 centimeter on a piece of approximately 30 centimeters. If half a meter, then will be more shrinkage. If a meter, then even more. So you can calculate by yourself easily. That's such a wonderful story I told you. It all started with a small piece and grew into a wall study. So experiment, don't be afraid, and remember what hand embroidery and embroidery of your fantasies is a very interesting activity. You just need to know the nuances. In the end, your creative vision and final implementation are important. I'm very glad what I managed to tell you about this using a real example. You can watch this video again from the very beginning and already knowing all the secrets. Watch how the canvas gradually settled in the process of work. This is incredible, isn't it? So, welcome to the Unique Embroidery world, and I'm inviting you to join all my social media and visit Leonetti, my boutique. There you can find a lot of digitized designs for easily creating by your own hands. And subscribe to this channel, subscribe, comment, share, and create with me, better me forever.